can you believe we're like approaching the end of October, right?
Yeah.
Holidays are around the corner,
Ah.
and there's ghosts and goblins starting to roam the streets, along with turkeys and pilgrims and the occasional Santa Claus and reindeer. So
Don't
that's
forget the zebra still on the loose.
what? The zebras on the loose?
Yes, there are still 2 zebras loose in Maryland.
Oh, okay, so we have a live studio guest, and she's telling me
I
that
have heard this as well on WTOP.
there are
See, not making it up.
zebras on the loose in where? Maryland?
Yeah.
Okay.
The crew of Molly, spiked eggnog in hand, is with you.
Should I point out that Maryland's state sport is jousting? So now I'm picturing knights mounted on zebra. Yeah, that's bizarre. All right. What are we going to do this evening? We are going to do some more haunted tiki drinks because I want to play around and try and figure out what we're going to do if we're going to serve drinks at a haunted tiki party. At some point, I need my darling wife to go outside and check and make sure that the additional lanterns that we got are in fact lighting. So we have these really cool flaming lanterns, and we just picked up 2 more of them, and I'd like to make sure that they are in fact working. So
We have 4 lanterns.
yay, we have 4 lanterns. They're all bright and burny, and then we have a similar like flame bulb in the back porch light. So we have lit the back deck on fire.
No.
No, not different.
Simulated
Fire. Yes, much like simulated octopus skeleton and simulated puffer fish. Oh, that's actually a puffer fish, but it's quite dead now. So, what are we going to start with? We're going to start with drinking some rum.
Yeah.
So, our studio audience is comprised of a person that has been here before on a couple of occasions. Sad to say, she's leaving us, and we have confirmation that she's leaving us because she just got back from a trip to California where she found her new place to stay, at least for a while. So all is not entirely lost because she lives in proximity to Hollywood, or she will be living in proximity to Hollywood. And you're like, yeah, what's the big deal about living in proximity to Hollywood? Well, K&L Liquor Distributors happens to have a warehouse down there, so she brought back this bottle of Privateer, which this is kind of amusing because Privateer is produced in Massachusetts, right? Massachusetts or Connecticut? The Northeast, the Great Northeast. How can I not remember where it is purchased? Massachusetts. I was right the first time. Ipswich. So that's just sounds like it should be Lovecraftian.
Yes.
Ipswich, Massachusetts. So you have to, if you live up there, you have to have the ability to enunciate clearly, which comes in handy when summoning the great older gods, right? Yep.
Well, you don't want to summon the wrong one.
You don't want to summon the wrong one. Yes, you might not get the god of rum, and that would be bad because, yeah. So anyway, this is produced in Massachusetts, then distributed out of California, and brought back from California to us. It would have been faster and easier to just run up to Massachusetts and get this, but yeah, we didn't. So this is the long journey to pick up this bottle of Letter of Marque. This is a cask strength rum. It is 107.2 proof. That works out to 53.6%. That's what it means to be cask strength. You are at the strength at which it is sitting in the cask with no dilution. So that's kind of cool. They usually dilute it a little bit before it goes into the cask for aging purposes. And then you lose some with the angel's share. But this is, you open up the cask and this is that what percentage is coming out of there. It is selected by K&L wine merchants. That's part of the reason why I got this was, so this cask was actually selected by the merchants at K&L. I've had really good luck buying stuff from K&L when they select their own cask, like the Golden Devil Jamaican rum that I have from Hamden is a cask selection from them, and it's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I'm talking too much and not drinking enough. So we have 1, we have 2, and we have 3 tasting glasses right here.
Woo!
And I did open this a little earlier. Got a little bit of air on this. but not much. So it is still.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. I'm the rum runner.
Rum runner,
Yay.
wife,
Rum drinker.
rum drinker, lantern runner.
Lantern runner.
Right, because you run it
Yeah.
and check those. So there you go, Gwen.
Woo.
There you go, Star. There you go, Mr. Pooch. Yeah, so read the description of the letter of marque. Knew that K&L was picking out the cask and went, oh, I need to have this one.
Yeah.
So I drove an hour and then some to go like 13
I
miles.
didn't say it was particularly close. I mean,
But
it is
it's
LA.
totally
It's,
worth
it's
it.
LA. It's only 4 miles.
But
Like-
Gwen did find an apartment
Yep.
on her
Yes.
visit.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
So, friends.
Two
cheers
friends.
to friends.
You're friends with shared interests.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now again, so usually when you are drinking
Wow.
rums that
Oh,
are higher
Oh.
proof, actually, if you're drinking anything
Very
that's a higher
smooth.
proof,
that is very smooth.
usually
for
the
a
first thing
cask.
you do is that first sip. You want that first sip to hit, kind of swirl it around. Don't concentrate too much on that first sip. It'll be the second one where you can actually really taste the better notes from this. So I'm drinking rum. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We have discovered that Pooch's memory stack, which is usually at least several registers deep, today is about a half a stack deep. So yeah, I was like, removing earrings today, and I removed one, and then about 30 minutes later, having done 4 or 5 other tasks, I realized I had never removed the other one. Yeah. So yeah, registers are not working entirely well. There's smoke. All right, I should get with this. The rum is really freaking excellent. Unfortunately,
This was worth the hour drive.
it absolutely was worth that hour drive and the pinging of Gwen and the scanning through the K&L rum list. Even once you shrink it down to no, just tell me what's available at Hollywood. Don't tell me what's at the main warehouse because then I'll want you. Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. So, but I should make a cocktail. That should be the thing that I
Yes.
do, and keep moving on because we have to keep moving on. Okay, as you may know, the Nui Nui is a cocktail that I'm particularly fond of. I think I had my first Nui Nui at Smuggler's Cove in San Francisco, which may have had something to do with it. I think that was Melissa in the downstairs bar who makes a damn fine cocktail. Not to say anything about any of the other bartenders in Smuggler's Cove, because y'all do a dang good job, including Dane working the main bar, etc., etc. You're all great folk. I hope to get out to Smuggler's Cove again at some point. So yes, so what I'm going to do is a couple of variations on the Nui Nui, because I think it's a good cocktail where you can just play with one ingredient and get a different flavor profile. So the Nui Nui has a 1/4 ounce of either cinnamon syrup or in my case a spice syrup. Then it has a 1/4 ounce of another syrup which is usually cinnamon and vanilla syrups combined. Right? Well, I'm getting a lot of those same notes from my spice syrup, so I could either go up to a 1/2 ounce and still probably be right in line with the traditional Nui Nui, or I could take that 1/4 ounce and play around with it and do other things. Then there's lime, there's orange juice, there's an amber, so lightly aged column still, like a Spanish style kind of rum. And then there's just a single dash of bitters. And of course, the common bitters is Angostura. And I'm like, I can do better than that. There's this massive collection of bitters over here. I should use some of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to play around with the other syrup and with the bitters and leave everything else the same. And if you're familiar with Cthulhu and the cultists and Lovecraft's writing, you'll know that there's often a phrase in their speaking which is Ia, Ia Fatagan, and the Ia is just IA exclamation mark, IA exclamation mark. And so instead of Nui Nui, this is going to be the Ia, Ia, right? So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to call it this evening. How's that?
Brooke wants to know who's behind the smoke.
Who's behind the smoke? That actually was. Wait, I don't know who
That's
picked.
you.
I don't know who picked the smoke though. It was Gwen that
Gwen
picked up
picked the smoke,
So,
but you were literally
she's
behind.
behind the smoke in terms of she was the one that chose the smoke. I, Lord Pooch, am the one behind the smoke in terms of physically hiding behind the smoke. Right, so here we can do that. See, is that better? Now you can see me. Yeah. Apparently, before we got started here, my body said, "Hey, dude, you should drink more." And I don't mean rum. So I've got a large glass of Gatorade here, and it tastes remarkably good to me. Which, if Gatorade tastes good, you're dehydrated. You need to drink more, not rum. Well, drink more rum, but drink other stuff as well. Sorry for that. You need to take a sip. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to do two variations on the Nui Nui. We are going to call both the Ia Ia, and we're going to figure out which one of these we like better. So, when we do this, we are going to use the spice syrup. That's great, that's fine. For the other syrup component, however, I need your help.
Oh.
Here's the deal. For the other component, we could use Monin's yuzu pureed syrup, right? So it's a yuzu citrus fruit, right? We could do Pooch's cardamom syrup, which I got to tell you, I really wanted the cardamom to be a little more pronounced in this syrup. So here's my cautionary note. If you really want me to do the cardamom, I will, but I'm not so sure how much additional flavor it's going to bring. What else can we do? I have hibiscus syrup. This is actually a bottle from Thrasher's, and it's their hibiscus syrup was originally purchased in this bottle. It is not still their hibiscus syrup in here. This is my homemade hibiscus syrup, which is essentially a simple syrup with dried hibiscus flowers thrown in it, soaked for overnight, and it's really tart and bright red. And what else could we do? I'm going to save the baklava syrup because we're going to use that in a different drink. I could use passion fruit syrup, but that's also in another drink. So your choice, the yuzu, the cardamom, or the hibiscus. Two of those three. So which one is not yuzu and hibiscus? All right.
Yeah.
So the cardamom goes away. Oof, sorry, cardamom. All right. 1/4 ounce spice syrup. So almost all of your tiki recipe books are going to call for cinnamon syrup in a lot of cocktails. And, you know, around here, I just say, you know, that's great, that's a nice base, but let's put some other spices in there as well. And so anytime a recipe calls for cinnamon syrup, I'm reaching for my spiced syrup. The primary spice in it is, in fact, it's the privateer that's doing it. It's the Massachusetts coming out.
Ah.
How you like them apples?
It is apple season.
And okay, so 1/4 ounce, just a 1/4 ounce. That's all it is.
This music.
That's Amy Winehouse is currently playing.
Yeah.
We have a little Nina Simone. We had the Pink Panther theme from Henry Mancini was earlier. We had the little James Bond theme playing earlier with the theme from Skyfall. So yeah, it's been an interesting mix, along with a little surf rock, because why not, right? Okay, yuzu syrup on the left, also 1/4 ounce. Glug, glug, glug. Really thick stuff. I should let go of the yuzu bottle, otherwise I'm going to try pouring it into the other shaker, and that's not what we want to do. Sticky, sticky bottle. Hold on. All right. Got that. See, now I have, like I said, about a half a register going on in my brain. So you want proof that I have like little, maybe you don't need proof that I have very little attention span, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, because I know how the Nui Nui is made. I have made many a Nui Nui in my time, and I in fact washed out barware specifically so I could do the Nui Nui. And then I started the Nui Nui in these two little plastic containers, thinking that I was going to shake them. The Nui Nui is a blended drink, and I cannot put these guys on my spindle blender without doing really bad things to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the cocktail in these plastic mugs, and then I'm going to dump it into, or dump it over some crushed ice in the blender tins, and we'll blend it that way. Somebody remind me to do that and not just reach over and start shaking. Okay, next up, half an ounce lime juice, because, well, we're making tiki cocktails. Single most common ingredient in tiki cocktails is lime juice. Just across the board, lime juice. Because lime and rum, right? What's not to like? Half an ounce. Following my standard protocol, the sweet sticky syrups go in first. Citrus comes next to clean out your jigger. There we go. There's our half ounce of lime juice. And then we go that most hated of bar ingredients, orange juice. Bartenders hate orange juice. It's just so insipid in cocktails, which is why if you are making cocktails, I think you can probably get away. I mean, don't quote me on this, please. You can probably get away with this still an okay cocktail using some old lime juice or bottled lime juice, for goodness sake. You can even get away with using canned white grapefruit juice, you know, like this. Canned pineapple juice. You don't have to have the fresh. I mean, will your drink be better, if you will? Yes. But for the drinks that require orange juice, it really has to be fresh orange juice. Otherwise, it's just sits there and does nothing for the cocktail. You have to have that brightness from the freshly squeezed orange juice. Even classic cocktails like the Blood and Sand, they're okay cocktails. The Blood and Sand is an okay cocktail. But if you make it with fresh orange juice, it's a really okay cocktail as opposed to making it with, like, I don't know, which, please not Tang, Sunny D or Tropicana, something along those lines. And it's just not, it's like, why am I drinking this? Which reminds me, I should drink more Gatorade. Hold on. The Nui Nui then requires 2 ounces of an amber Virgin Island rum. Virgin Island rum is classic signaling for, oh, you mean Cruzan, which is fine, except that I don't carry Cruzan around here. And I recently had an experience where I spent a great deal of time with one of the reps for Chairman's Reserve, which is not at all part of the Virgin Islands. It's St. Lucia. It's just south of the French portion of the Caribbean. So we're going to use that because I want to.
You're in charge.
I'm in charge. We're not doing the Nui Nui. We're doing a variations. Variations? That's not how that works. It is still English. There are some rules. We are doing variations on the Nui Nui.
There are no rules.
And so we're going to use Chairman's Reserve, the Forgotten Casks, because this is a really exceptionally fine rum. It comes in at it's about $50. So we're mixing some pretty good rum here for this cocktail. And 2 ounces. Don't worry, I'm pretty sure there's a spare bottle of this lying around. Because, oh my goodness, this is so good. It was amazingly fun sitting around chatting with Ben and Nick about Chairman's Reserve and Rum JM and Clement. That's a little bit of foreshadowing there. So there we go. Next up, we need a dash of bitters. And in the mail this week came a new bottle of bitters because I don't have enough bitters, right?
Because it got mentioned last week.
It got mentioned last week. The Shaker and Spoon contribution to, one of the Shaker and Spoon contributions to my bitter collection is the Bitter Queen's Marie Laveau Tobacco Bitters.
What?
Ooh. Just as a cautionary note, there is no tobacco in these bitters.
Oh, tobacco, not Tabasco.
No, there are Tabasco bitters, but yeah, no, not this.
Like, what?
I really like the tobacco bitters. They are reminiscent of tobacco on the nose and sort of the flavor profile. The reason there's no actual tobacco in them is because of nicotine, and nicotine is extracted really, really easily with the use of alcohol, and enough nicotine will kill you. It will make you god awful sick to begin with, and then will kill you. So, do not do your home bitters from tobacco. Do not soak a Marlboro cigarette in high potency spirits and call it tobacco bitters. Bad. You'll kill people that way. Don't do that. Instead, you should buy Bitter Queen's Marie Laveau bitters, which give you the experience of tobacco bitters without all that messy death. Yeah. I don't care what season it is. I don't like guests coming over and dying. Right? So we're going to just go with a single dash of the Marie Laveau tobacco bitters.
What am I supposed to do next week then?
I don't know.
There we go. I'm just gonna little taste of that. Oh, there's almost a little bit of menthol on that. So I guess it wouldn't be a Marlboro, right? It's Marlboro. Well, Pall Malls. Did Pall Malls have menthol? No. This tells you how much I know about cigarettes, right? Okay, so
Marlboro had a menthol.
Marlboro had a menthol version,
Yes.
but it was not. It's the red pack Marlboros.
Right.
Were not
The
menthols.
green pack is menthol.
Got it. I should have known this. I used to work for Philip Morris. All right, here is a mixing tin. We're going to put 4 ounces of ice in that. 4 ounces of ice is approximately half a scoop. Yeah, so that'll work. That goes in there. Now we're going to swirl this around a little bit because there's sticky stuff at the bottom of it. Just upend that. We're going to do the same with the other one. We go 4 ounces of ice. Right. Yep. Close that. Swirl this around. Upend it to get all of the sticky stuff out. And then we're going to flash blend this. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done.
You didn't use a plastic cup, did you?
I did not. No, that was a
job.
piece of ice that went flying. It was not glass or
Ow!
anything else. Ow! And these are usually served in one of these mugs, right? One of the sort of zombie mugs. So that's going to go here. And my garnishing notes say add a tentacle. All right. Well, I think that's easy enough to do. I'm going to add some more ice first. Bring this up a little bit. There we go. And we're going to add a tentacle straw. That'd be one of these guys from Surfside Tips. Yeah, that's where that's coming from. And then we're going to reach over and we're going to grab one of these bright red tentacles.
Ooh, red.
Has been washed. It is had been washed. This is the tentacle finger puppets from Archie McPhee. That's what these things are. You can this goes in your cocktail like that. There we go. There's the Ya number 1. That one is made with the yuzu syrup. And the second one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, shooting ice everywhere. Where's my other glass? I pulled out a second one. It's here
Behind
somewhere.
you.
It's behind me?
Isn't it?
No. It's right here. It's orange. It blends in with the orange swizzle sticks that were right there. All right. Oops.
Did we forget something?
We forgot something. Hey. Did we forget to put the 2 ounces of rum in this one?
I think maybe.
Half a register. Half a
Sorry,
register
that's
is
my
working.
fault.
Where is the Chairman's Reserve? I moved it. Not that Chairman's Reserve. The other Chairman's Reserve.
It's still in the box.
I should. Here, let's do this.
Check to make sure that there's no rum in it.
If there is, I'm not tasting it.
Okay then, and you would be one to taste it. caught it.
Wow, this tastes really yummy, but it oddly doesn't taste like alcohol at all. Well, there's a reason for that. Okay, there, got it. Close that up. That's closer. Close this up. Top this off with a little bit of ice. Right. So far, hopefully so good. We're going to go with a green tentacle for this one so we can tell them apart, because you can't do that because the glasses are the same. No, that's not actually true. We have another tentacle straw. This one's blue. It's going to go in there, making differentiation even easier. And on the left side, we have the Nui Nui. No, not the Nui Nui. The however that's pronounced. That is made with the yuzu syrup. Right? And where is it here? We're just going to do this. I know I have the other straw here, but the thing is I can't really get good suction with a really big straw. So this gives me actually more stuff to work with. Very tart, very citrusy, as one would suspect from adding yuzu to an already citrusy drink.
Lime and orange, yeah.
Go here. We may be onto something with that one.
Oh. Hibiscus is
The hibiscus is a thing, and you can tell that not just the coloration of the glass, but the liquid in them is in fact a different color as well. The hibiscus gives it a definite reddish tint. Yuzu. And there would be the hibiscus. And I will drink rum.
Ooh. They're both tasty.
Okay.
So there we go. There's two variations on the Nui Nui. All we did was change that just 1/4 ounce of syrup from the usual vanilla cinnamon bit.
It's tartar.
Yeah, the hibiscus is definitely tartar.
I like the
I like the uzu better, yeah.
I like
Oh.
the uzu better. So we can kick this one back up.
Okay, what else are we doing this evening? We are going to drink a little more rum, and then we're going to move on to our last two cocktails. The rum we are going to drink this evening is rum that we are going to use to celebrate the fact that the Washington City paper just voted this bar #1 bar in the Washington, D.C. metro area.
Woo!
Green Zone, you guys deserve it. You are awesome. Chris, Michael, the entire crew over at Green Zone, you do an amazing job. Your food is yummy. And whoever, I think it was Chris, came up with the, hey, yeah, I want to do Middle Eastern tiki. Yeah, you're just doing it right. Yep, you deserve it.
That's cool.
So they brought in a brand rep that does Clement, which is a Martinique-based rum. Rum JM, also a Martinique-based rum. And St. Lucian Chairman's Reserve, right, the rum we were just drinking. And so he did a little spiel about Rum JM. Interesting note, there are 10 distilleries on Martinique, which make it the most densely populated Caribbean island in terms of distilleries. Assuming you're not counting all of like the little mom and pop distilleries on Haiti that are like 2 people are running that distillery, but that's Clarion, it's a different thing. But anyway, all right, so there's like 10 on Martinique, and they are almost exactly evenly spread in terms of market share, except Rum JM, which has, so they're basically equally spread out at 10% each, except for Rum JM, which has the additional 10%. So that's kind of cool. There's no, I'm not sure what the explanation is, other than all of the other rums that are all the other distilleries are distilleries that are where there are people, and Rum JM apparently isn't. Now, I've never been there. I've never been to the island of Martinique. I don't know, but as he was describing it, there's volcano, There is road that leads to volcano, and then you drive around the volcano to the other side, and that's where the distillery is, and ain't nobody living out there. And that's the most popular rum on Martinique, which is great. And I have a couple of bottles of rum JM, and I don't mix with them because they're really, really yummy. One of the others that he is a brand distributor for, brand rep for, is Clement. Uh, Obviously, again, French here. And Clement is a rum that I use a lot of, including the Clement VSOP, which goes into my Mai Tais as my rum agricole of choice for my Mai Tais. What we're going to do here is we are going to drink some Chairman's Reserve, but we are going to drink not the exceptional cask or the forgotten cask here. There used to be a lot more distilleries on St. Lucia, and slowly over time those distilleries have gone away, having to do with the sugar trade and that sort of thing. And there is only one now, and there were two. Those two decided to combine, and in much the same way as this happened in Guyana, where you had a bunch of different distilleries that all closed down, their equipment all wound up at one distillery. And this is the St. Lucian Distillers that produces Chairman's Reserve. And having access to all of those different stills and different processes has created a very experimental culture over at Chairman's Reserve. And occasionally, they put something together which is unique and extraordinary, and they do it as a small cask release. And they were selling bottles of the small cask release, a single batch, earlier last week. Yeah, early this last week. This is aged 9 years, and this I got a wonderful taste of this. This is trying to remember what stills were used here. Right, so there's a John Doerr still. It is sugarcane juice, and more intriguingly, for the most part, Chairman's Reserve uses their own proprietary yeast strain. And for this one, they went with wild yeast. So totally unique expression, amazing rum. I had a chance to have a taste of it, and it was absolutely brilliant. And so we're going to do a second tasting round so that we can cheer on the folk over at Green Zone for getting the Washington City Papers voted number one. Number one. All right, so we need tasting glasses. We could use the glasses we had. We just have to rinse them out.
No, I'm not.
Nope, not done yet. Okay, the word says not done yet. So fortunately, I have shot glasses, so we're going to do that. This also is hot. This is, right? Am I right? I thought it was.
What do you mean by hot?
51%.
Ah.
So not quite as much as the cast strength from Privateer, but not far off the mark either. So there we go. We're going to seal this up because we don't want anything happening to that bottle. And we will hand one to Gwen. She will take this one to my wife, and I will drink this one. So,
assuming I don't drink it between here and there.
well, considering you're still working on that first one, I presume we're going to be pretty safe with this getting over to my wife.
Mission accomplished.
To the folks at Green Zone,
Green
we
Zone.
love what you do. We wish we were closer so we could partake of more of it, but we're glad we're far enough away that we're not partaking every day. Oh,
Good luck and keep going.
If you like the... Wait, what can you do with rum again? And what happens when you mix this still and that still and the... What? Yes, I have a hand raised.
So,
So,
DC Washington City Paper.
yes.
The award is actually Best Cocktail Bar.
Okay, sorry.
Winner is the Green Zone.
Uh-huh.
Second place, Columbia Rum.
Oh, oof. Oh, you guys beat out Columbia Room.
Third place, McCullen's Retreat.
There's a reason we live in Northern Virginia and not in DC. A, it's closer to my work. B, it's further from these bars, which make it easier to make it into work.
And I think that the fact that they beat out Columbia Room makes the award even more impressive.
Yeah.
Columbia Room, I've only been there twice, and the tasting room is amazing. It is. Oh, sorry, I'll be in my bunk. That's really good. It is an experience. Absolutely, it is educational. It is fun. They take you on a trip, and their regular bar is fantastic as well. The stuff that they are doing at Green Zone is just fun. It's out there. It's educational. It's educational not just to the rum nerds and the professionals out there. It's educational to the general public. Oh, and they serve really good food as well, especially if you like Middle Eastern fare. The stuff Green Zone does is just, they do it well. These two rums are both really, really yummy, and they're wildly different rums. Yeah, I get nods. Uh-huh. Yep. If I had more than just a half a register, I would have actually prepared some notes from the discussion about that particular rum and about Chairman's Reserve, and I would take you down a little educational path. I just don't have the brains to do that this evening. I'm sorry. That and I have to catch a flight early in the morning. So brains. Yeah, brains. The zombies got my brains. While we were at Green Zone, doing the tasting and talking with Ben and talking with Nick, hi guys, there was swag to be had. We got some little plastic swizzle stick, not swizzle sticks.
Call out our friend Nick Tango.
They're the lele sticks, right? So for doing swizzles, right? Ah. These are the plastic ones, one from Clement and one from Rum JM, right? So those go over here in the bar kit, along with the good natural wooden one. Yes, yeah, all right. And you know, I love making swizzles, so yep, give me some more swizzle sticks. I had a Mai Tai. That was made with some exceptional rum from Clement, right? Was it no, it was Rum JM that was the agricole. I think that's right. I have the recipe somewhere, but it got, when you buy the Mai Tai, it comes with a souvenir glass. Ooh. And apparently it also has Chairman's Reserve rum in it because it says Chairman's Reserve on the back end of the mug. So it must have been Chairman's Reserve and Clement in that. I think that's right. Very tasty Mai Tai, quite tasty. Still, Rumba is probably my #1 Mai Tai on the planet. It's really, really good. What else did we get? Oh, I brought home some t-shirts. And
you have a Chairman's Reserve t-shirt?
Got Chairman's Reserve and a Clement t-shirt. And made some new friends. So that was kind of cool and kind of fun. And that's just an example of going over to Green Zone and doing stuff. They're also the ones that introduced us to Clarin. They introduced us to the Transcontinental Rum Line series of rums. And so, yeah, we like them bunches. And it's great that they've been recognized for doing really good work. So,
and I want to give a special shout out to Chris. A lot of bars do educational service program type stuff for the service industry. And that's absolutely appropriate. Chris often opens up these to the public. So this rum agricole information from Rum JM and Clement and Chairman's Reserve was open to the rest of us. Mm-hmm. And that is really nice. And Green Zone really works hard to help educate customers as well as other service industry in town.
And Chris was making cocktail videos early on in COVID and that sort of thing. Yep, just to like, here's how you make this cocktail that we do. And yes, it's good. And so is this rum, which I'm going to drink more of. And then we're going to do a Voodoo Grog. So the Voodoo Grog is a 1950s era cocktail, and the recipe that I have is coming from a 1972 version of the Trader Vic's cocktail guide. It starts with honey syrup as the sweet component for it. Honey syrup, and the way they actually do this is they actually don't take honey syrup. They take honey and they take lime juice. They say stick this in a blender until it mixes up. And I'm like, well, that's awkward. I'm just going to use honey syrup and lime juice because that's what all modern bartenders do. They don't use honey because it seizes up and it's a mess and blah. And then I got an education. It totally seems like honey is shelf stable. I mean, it might seize up on you, but it's shelf stable. Water, largely the same. And so if you mix honey and water, you should be pretty darn stable for a long period of time with that mixture. There's another ingredient to this process, which is the glassware. This is just a reminder, if you are keeping syrups, make sure that whatever glassware you use for that syrup is very clean before you decide to store anything in there. Yep. Because I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, that looks like that, you get sort of that semi-solid foam that sort of appears on the top of honey sometimes, right? Have you seen that? I'm not the only one, right? Okay. And I was like, oh, so that's what it is. I'll just shake it up. It'll be fine, right? And I opened the bottle and went, no. So we are not using honey, nor are we using honey syrup. Okay, that's not technically true. We are using a syrup that does have honey in it, and this is the homemade baklava syrup that I made last week for the Molly High, because I only got a little small bottle of the baklava syrup from Shaker and Spoon, and it worked amazingly well for that cocktail. And it prompted David and Chris to go out and buy a bottle of the baklava syrup. I decided to try and make my own. And what I did was essentially a walnut orgeat. And instead of using a simple syrup to sweeten the walnut milk, I went with honey. So there you go. That's what's in here, along with a little rose water and some orange blossom water. That's all that's in here. Honey, homemade walnut milk, and rose water, and there's actually a little tiny bit of rum in here for preservation purposes as well. We're going to use that instead of the honey syrup for the Voodoo Grog. This is also a blended drink, which is why I had Gwen clean these for me. Okay, so we're going to go 1/4 ounce of the honey syrup, in this case the walnut syrup. Does anybody want a taste of the baklava syrup?
I've had a taste, but it's very yummy.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Here we go. I will just set this over here. An arm will reach over and grab that.
Disembodied arm.
And there's 1/4 ounce. 1/4 ounce. It's right there. What the heck is this that you've got in your hand? This actually says concentrate juice passion fruit. That's a lie. There was passion fruit concentrate juice in here. I've now made this passion fruit concentrate into syrup by adding sugar to it and making it a 2-to-1, so it's shelf stable and blah 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 blah, and cleaned out the glassware ahead of time, which is why this is not fermenting. Yes, not fermenting. Good. We're gonna go 1/2 ounce of the passion fruit syrup. I had some passion fruit. I had this thing of passion fruit syrup lying around. I was like, I would really kind of like to use that, and I like the flavor of passion fruit in tiki cocktails, so I need to find a way to use this. So this is how we're doing it. We're going to do Voodoo Grog. 3/4 ounce allspice dram. Sorry, Chris, I'm not using your allspice dram because it would probably use up the last of your allspice dram. And, well, I need to be able to have allspice dram on hand if I'm going to be making this drink in the future. So I want to know what the flavor profile is with the different allspice dram. Here we're going with Cotton and Reed. Cotton Reed is a distillery within the boundaries of DC that do amazingly good stuff, even if Megan is no longer working for them, which is sad. But
She's in Australia.
she's in Australia. You know, she likes it there. Whatever. Someday maybe we'll visit. I don't know.
Yeah, we will.
All right. So what do we got? We got the honey syrup. In this case, baklava syrup, passion fruit syrup, allspice ram, lime juice because it's a tiki cocktail, right? 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. 3/4. That was a little scant, so I'm gonna have to come back and hit that line a little closer. Yeah, that's probably about right. There we go. 3/4 of an ounce. Okay. Then we need grapefruit juice, and here I'm just gonna go ahead and use the canned grapefruit juice. I do have a ruby red grapefruit sitting over here that I probably should have used. I ran out of time and didn't feel like squeezing it, so that's much easier to do with one of the like mash it down and twist sort of juicers as opposed to using the hand, the thing that they call the Mexican elbow thing, right?
Yeah.
It's much easier to do the mash and twist than it is that for grapefruit because grapefruit are big. You usually have to cut them into like eighth pieces and then put them in there. And I'm rambling. So we need grapefruit juice in here. How much did I say? 3/4 of an ounce, please. 3/4 of an ounce white grapefruit juice. I've said this before, but when tiki drinks were first becoming a thing, they really got their start in Southern California. And at that time in Southern California, 1930s, 1940s, grapefruit what meant white grapefruit. And so all of these recipes that call for grapefruit juice, they don't say white grapefruit juice, but they mean white grapefruit juice. Ruby red grapefruit juice doesn't cut it. 1 ounce Puerto Rican rum. Gwen, what rum are we going to use when it says Puerto Rican rum?
Scryer.
We're using Scryer. Why are we using Scryer? Well, because it's from Puerto Rico, and
Brought
you
by
can
your rum runner.
only get in Puerto Rico because they don't distribute to the United States. And it was brought to us by our rum runner, Gwen. So before she runs away, we should drink more of this Scryer, right? So here's an ounce, and there's another ounce. Am I doing anything different between these two? Not a thing. Nope, we just want to have one each. All right, and then we need an aged rum agricole. And in this case, I'm reaching for my favorite, the Clement VSOP. Okay, I should caveat that. This is my favorite for cocktails, especially when I'm making lots of cocktails. I might be persuaded to move over to the Rum JM because I got to tell you, the Rum JM that I had at Green Zone was a Blanco. It was an unaged, and I generally am kind of iffy on unaged agricoles. And this was the first time I'd ever had a tea punch, which the primary alcohol in that, the only alcohol in that, is an unaged rum agricole. And it was really, really good. So I may have to think about this seriously about whether I might have to make the move to Rum JM. I really don't think Ben or Nick will care so long as I'm using either Clement or Rum JM. 1 ounce of the Clement VSOP. As Ben pointed out to us, the folks in Martinique, yeah, the way they drink their rum is the unaged rum agricoles. This stuff is for export. This is the cognac snobs kinds of rum. That's why it comes in like VSOP and VS and XO. I use those standard sort of brandy and cognac statements about them. Honey syrup, passion fruit syrup, allspice ram, lime, grapefruit juice, Puerto Rican rum, Clement rum agricole, and then an egg white. Yeah, an egg white. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to do this over here so I do not get egg everywhere. There we go. There's white. You should totally not do this way because this is a complete recipe for disaster. And you would have to potentially throw out the cocktail that you are putting together because you got yolk in it or got shell in it or something like that. I have half a register, so therefore I'm risking it, which makes no sense whatsoever. I should be even more careful, but I don't have the register to spare to say you should be more careful. So I'm just doing it, and lo and
Be more
behold,
careful.
turns out we are successful. We have an egg white in both of these. Unless, of course, that was the same glass. No, we're good. We're good. 8 ounces crushed ice goes in these. Could you make this as a flip instead? Yes, you could. And what would that mean? That would mean you would be using a full egg instead of just the egg white. We're going to blend this for 20 seconds, actually. Close enough. There we go. There's that. And what are we putting this in? We're going to put the Voodoo Grog into one of our snifters. Oh, it's all foamy and yummy. Oh, look at that. Ooh. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We stick this 20 seconds. Go. Probably a little longer than 20 seconds. But I was reaching over to try and get my nutmeg. You don't know what kind of a triumph this is. Because if there's one garnish that I cannot get right behind this bar, is remembering when something says garnish with nutmeg. For whatever reason, I always forget. Tonight, I didn't. So apparently that half register is registering nutmeg. Voodoo Grog, made with baklava syrup. It's not strained out. It's just dumped in there just like that. Nutmeg. Nutmeg. I like me the nutmeg, which is... I don't understand why I have such a problem remembering the nutmeg when I like nutmeg so much. All right, so there we have the Voodoo Grog, and then it says garnish with mint. David, this is mint. David, what do we do with mint? Is Amanda online?
I have not seen her comment.
Oh, okay, because usually Amanda hops in here with like a variation of a Prodigy lyric, you know, smack my mint up or something like that, right? Yeah. So we're gonna smack the mint around. Bam! No, that's Emerald Lagasse. I can't say that. That'd be bad, right? Whole bunch of mint in here. This mint has seen better days, but I think that's actually kind of cool because then it's kind of yellowy. There's a couple of brown spots on there. That just looks like...
Zombie.
It looks zombie-esque, yes. It looks appropriate. Shake, shake, shake.
Shake, shake, shake.
Smack.
Shake, shake, shake.
In it goes.
David said, put it over our knees.
Yeah, there you go. I wouldn't put the drink over your knees. Probably
No,
the
the
mint,
mint.
though. Okay, yeah. Pouring the drink over your knees would be a waste of a good cocktail. Well, at least I'm hoping it's a good cocktail. Here we go. It's all garnished and pretty, and we should put straws in that.
Oh, and where do we get straws from?
I don't know, hun. Where do we get our straws from? Could it be we get our straws from
Surfside
Sips? Yeah, we love you guys. We have so much fun with this, I don't know what the and is. We just have fun with you guys and your straws. You do a wonderful job. All right, there we have it. This is the Voodoo Grog. Man, that's a pretty looking drink. I love working with these snifters. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. Isn't that like, ooh, that's awesome. The egg white, forms this great big foam on the top. I'm going to stick my nose down in here in the mint. Oh, that is a brilliant character for carrier for Allspice Dram, if nothing else.
Mm.
Yeah, that's oh, there's gingerbread and all sorts of baking spices and yummy stuff there. There's part of me that says this is a little too heavy on the allspice dram, and As a consequence, I might cut that back to a half ounce and maybe do a couple of other things with it. But yeah, that's some pretty tasty stuff there. If you like allspice dram and like cocktails that are allspice dram forward, this is pretty amazing.
We're sharing.
I'm gonna have some more Gatorade here.
Ooh, it's all
I
fluffy on top.
Some peach.
So the other
Yeah, I did.
The other thing about doing a cocktail like this, where you've used the egg white, stuck it under the blender for a while in order to get that really thick foam, is that you can do all sorts of design work on the top of the foam with your bitters. So if I wanted to, I don't know, do a pentagram on top of it or something along those lines, silly like that, I absolutely could do that because the foam is so thick.
That's delicious.
Isn't that just like, it's a gingerbread house in a glass, kind of.
Yeah, kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to switch up the rums here and go with like a Jamaican rum, that funk would just be inappropriate here. It wouldn't allow the allspice to come through in the way that we want it to. So that's a success. I like that. That's yummy. Hugely different cocktail from the Nui Nui we had earlier. Oh. So what are we going to do for the third cocktail?
I don't know, Ren. What are we gonna do?
Well, so for the third cocktail, I promised my wife.
Yeah, it's a little allspice heavy.
Yeah, it could be that it's the
You want to give it to me then?
Star thinks it's allspice heavy. We are using Cotton and Reed's allspice dram, which clocks in at 24%, and this is a potent allspice dram. So it's heavy. You could use St. Elizabeth's instead.
I was gonna say I could use that in my gingerbread cookies.
And this would be a little lighter profile. Chris, I'm guessing that yours would have been exceptionally yummy in that, but I didn't want to use up all of yours. I might do it later on for a drink for just Star and I at some point. So the thing is, I found something at the international market, and I said, oh, this looks good, and it's the only can on the shelf, which means other people probably thought that it was yummy too, and I haven't seen it previously, so I snatched up that can and said I should try and do something with this. So this is a can of Foco's roasted coconut juice. Not coconut water, coconut juice, and roasted. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to make a cocktail with it because I can, right? Because you got rum, you might as well make cocktails with it. I'm going to take a tasting glass right here, shake it a can, hope it's not carbonated. We'll point it off screen. Yes, good. There was nothing on the can to indicate that it might be carbonated. So, oh, this is interesting. There's floaty bits. That's coconut. Those are chunks of coconut floating in this. That's interesting. All right. Little bits. It looks just like coconut water.
But with bits.
With bits, and those bits are like floating in it, right? So, it's cool. Somebody else should taste this because that's really yummy. I would drink that. Just like that, I would drink that. There's a little bit of sugar in here, so I'm going to go really simple. I'm going to go rum, a lime, yep, and this roasted coconut juice. And the roasted flavors come through really nicely on that. Yeah, look at that face. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, once again, I'm going to do two variations of this cocktail. But the first one that we're going to do, I'm going to go with a very simple sort of clean rum. We're going to go with the standard Plantation 3-Star, which is...
Oh my gosh.
We get Gwen going, oh my gosh. Yeah, isn't that yummy? Yeah, that's really good. All right.
Oh, note to self. Look for this in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I need my jigger. We're going to go rum. We're going to go 2 ounces of rum. I'm going to reach for something simple, which is the Plantation 3-Star. This is often where I start with experimenting with cocktails. Is the Plantation 3-Star. It's a nice balanced rum. If I goof and the rum and the cocktail is absolutely horrible, I don't feel so bad tossing it out because it's not that expensive a rum. And here we're playing. I don't really know proportions on this cocktail. I'm going to go with a half ounce. I think a half ounce of lime juice. Yep. I'm going to go half ounce of lime juice. Just like that. It's okay. I know this probably should be shaken. I was a little concerned about what the viscosity of the coconut juice would be. So I'm going to go with 2 ounces of the coconut juice, it does have sweetness to it. So I'm not going to add any sweetener to this cocktail. We're going to add some cubed ice. Just like that. Ta-da! And then we're going to stir this. Well, this is getting really, really cold. So here we're going to try to do this two-handed. The more you do of the left hand, the worse the right hand gets. And we are starting to get some chill in the glassware. Yep, that's probably cold enough. Coop. We're going to double strain this. I'm double straining this because there are those little chunks of the roasted coconut in there. And I'm going to try and take those out. And there we go. So this is rum, lime juice, and roasted coconut water, or roasted coconut juice. Now we'll see what this tastes like. There are things to like about that.
Uh-oh.
It's not there.
Does it need a little sweetener?
Maybe a little sweetener. I think I need my studio audience to come up and have a taste of this. And we'll see about doing some course corrections. It could be that my instincts on stirring it were wrong, and it needs to be shaken and much colder. I'd be okay with that, just essentially treating this as if it were a daiquiri.
I think it needs a little sweetener.
All right there?
Yep, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Did that go down the wrong pipe? Or
It did, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. That seems like an odd reaction to that. You want to see what my wife thinks of this? Oh no, she'll just come on up.
I'll come up.
And take a look.
My guess, I'm going to say it needs sweetener. Gwen says it needs sweetener. Because I like sweeter than Gwen.
Is that why you married me?
Yeah.
Because I'm sweeter.
No, because I didn't ask her.
Ah. It's not balanced.
Not quite. I want to say it's. I'm not sure what's out of balance though, because
I don't know what's out of balance.
It's not too tart. There's not too much lime juice in it. That's not taking. I think it's the rum. I think the rum's the wrong
It's
rum.
the wrong rum.
I think it's the wrong rum.
That might be.
All right, so if I go with a show,
What'd you use for this one?
I use the Plantation 3-Star.
Okay.
An agricole?
No.
No, doesn't want to do an agricole. Okay.
Maybe the plantation OFTD.
Well, we'll get the. It'll play up the roasted notes.
Yeah,
Of it.
that was my thought.
It is overproof. I mean, that's part of the charm of the OFTD.
Right.
So we can give that a shot.
Yeah.
Humor
What would
me.
you add as a sweetener? If you were going to sweeten it.
Yeah, so I mean, we can take this one and add a touch of sweet to it.
So you're thinking what we should do is take this,
Uh-huh.
pour it in here,
Uh-huh.
add a little sweetener to that.
Right.
Like say the cardamom syrup, which we didn't use earlier.
Yeah.
And a 1/4 ounce.
Yeah. Smidgen.
Smidgy.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's a smidge. What's those ones?
There's also a lot more dilution on this because it's been sitting in the ice and just got shaken. Okay, so we're gonna put this in a different glass.
Yeah.
Goop! 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 Gooper. Scoop.
Goop.
Here, because you shook it, you absolutely want to double strain it. Okay, there's almost a second full glass there. So this is the same cocktail, just with a hint
Of cardamom syrup. And a little more dilution.
Right.
That's better. It's still, the coconut comes out more.
It does. That's odd.
But I would try it with a different rum.
It's interesting because the finish on this is all the roasted coconut juice, which is really interesting. So, full ounce of the OFTD. We're going to reach over for the lime juice. I'm going to go 1/2 ounce of the lime juice this time. Right? I did a 1/2 ounce last time, didn't I? Yep. I still need 1 more ounce of rum. Do I want to do the OFTD? Do I want to do full 2 ounces of the OFTD? Nope. I'm going to play up the Jamaican notes with a little Appleton in there. Come on. There we go. And doing this backwards because I did not add the sweet component yet. Right? Right, did not. We'll do the cardamom, which is pretty much the closest thing I have up here to a straight simple syrup at this point. Orange bitters. There's 2 dashes of that. And then, yeah, I'll go ahead and do 1 dash of the Havana hide. I'm still missing 1 ounce of rum. So, yeah, fine. OFTD. We'll do the other ounce of OFTD as well. No, wait, no, what am I doing? No, I poured the Appleton into this. Ah. All right, hold on. Okay, never waste the OFTD. Oh, that's good. That goes there. See what I mean? 1/2 a register? I'm getting some of that register back, maybe. I don't know. Here, I can actually shake this. I'm setting this up to be shaken. 2 ounces of the coconut juice. Bunch of ice. Right. Why did you add orange bitters to that?
I don't know. Why did you?
Because sitting over here, I happen to have some strips of orange peel that I did when I was juicing the orange. And I'm just going to take these and I'm going to toss them right in here with the shaker. And then I'm going to preserve one as garnish. These guys could go in there. I'm going to shake this. Okay. All right, here we go. We're running late. Got to put this in a glass. Hey, it's orange looking. It's unusual. And then we're going to take a sip. I'm going to let you know how well this went. Just stick that right there on the side. And I'm going to take the orange peel. There you go, flame, like such. And then we're going to do that. Whoo. Did you see that? Did you catch that? Nobody caught that. All right, fine.
Sorry.
Flame. There you go. You catch that little poof of oils as they hit the heat.
Wow.
Yep. Oh.
Man.
How'd we do?
Yeah.
So we got an unbalanced. We got a that's tasty. I might want the coconut juice by itself better. And then we got tasty.
Oh, yeah.
So there we go. I'm going to count that as a success. We have Gwen over here who brought us some privateer rum. She also brought us the Scryer. She's running rum for me. This is kind of cool.
I brought you some rum back from Wisconsin, but it was not.
She did too, and that's going in the punch because that'll work. It'll work just fine for that. That's actually very tasty. So if you see this roasted coconut juice from Foco, that's some tasty stuff. Yeah, I think just over ice, that would be quite tasty. Maybe some ice and some tonic water to just give it a little fizz. Maybe it's a little Topo Chico would be fine. If you wanted a non-alcoholic version of this, I would say coconut juice, Topo Chico, and then several splashes of the bitters of your choice, and do sort of a non-alcoholic gin and tonic-y thing. I think that would be absolutely delightful and refreshing, and I'll have to keep that in mind for the summer party because it totally won't work for the winter party. All right, there we go. We're going to call this number 80 in the can, in the books. We're done. I have stuff to drink here and clothes to pack, and then I will see you all next weekend on Halloween when we will do number 81. And thanks for tuning in as always, and remember, if you're in the area, A, stop by here for a flight of rum, and B, drop in on the Washington City Papers vote for best cocktail bar in all of DC, which is Green Zone. And if Green Zone is too cramped for you, get reservations and stop in the Columbia Room because they're pretty freaking awesome as well. And I forget who was number 3. Oh, it was McClellan's Retreat. Also pretty freaking awesome. So we are blessed here in the district. And Archipelago is no slouch either, especially if you are into the tiki like we are. So you want recommendations? Yeah, just text me.